So someone has asked me to expound on a Bible quote, and I love that he starts this with Joshua's commandment was and is clear, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Joshua also said, do not let your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and I prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, so that where I am, you may also be. You know where I go, and you know the way. It's a great quote. It's a beautiful quote, and there's a lot in it. Now, I often question the wording of things. So, whether this is accurate or not, I have no idea. I know that the original New Testament was written in Greek. It was not written in Aramaic. And the oldest book in the New Testament is a letter from Paul, and it's attributed to 50 years after the crucifixion. So everything until 50 years after the crucifixion was an oral tradition. And being an oral tradition is like playing the telephone game over decades and decades and decades. And each person adds their own little twist to the stories. So that said, there's a lot in this, and I believe it's probably fairly accurate, but I just want to, it's the nuances of the teachings that I want to pop on. Joshua's commandment was and is clear, that you love one another as I have loved you. Joshua loved without limit. He didn't, he spoke to the Samaritan woman at the well. He healed the Romans soldier and their child. He put this faith and belief into the world that showed he had no limits of who he would talk to, who he would work with, who he would help. And even in the Bible, he was ministering to the beggars and the peasants and the lepers. And people were saying, why are you doing that? And why are you bringing these people in, the wealthy people? Why are you bringing them into my house? Because he knew that didn't matter whether you were wealthy or not. It was that he loved everyone equally, no matter who they were and how they lived, wealthy or not. But he also knew that the love of money would limit the opportunity because you love money more than one another. And the next line, greater love has no man than that of a man lay down his life for his friends. I love that line. I just love that line. Greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. How many times in the videos have I talked about why Joshua went to the cross? He went to the cross so that his followers would not suffer for being a follower. I mean, that's literally why. He got the teachings into the world. He got the teachings spread across the world by sending disciples to different parts of the world. Peter was in Rome, and his brother James was in Jerusalem, and John was sent to Turkey. And so he got the teachings out. But he knew that he was a rock star, and he had to go away because he was the face of this movement, of this teachings. And if he went away, then the teachings went underground. The teachings were not stoppable. He became the martyr for the teachings. He became the thing that kept us moving. And he did it out of love for us. No greater love than a man laid down a life for his friends. That's why he did it. Joshua also said, do not let your heart be troubled. Do not let your heart be troubled. Because Joshua's belief was the mere thought of trouble is just fear. If your heart is troubled, you're just in fear. And he believed in eternal life. He believed you had eternal life. He believed he had eternal life. So there's no reason to be troubled by his passing. The only thing that's going to happen is those people would not see him on a regular basis as much or more anymore. You believe in God. Believe also in me. This is the line that made me preempt this with the whole interpretation thing. You believe in God, believe also in me. Right? Modern Christianity takes this as I am the Son of God and I am ought to be deified and raised up and believe in me because I am the Son of God. You believe in God, believe also in me as I believe in you, because we are one in God. You believe in God, believe also in me because I believe in you, and we are all one in God. That is more in line with the teachings. So was this edited? Who knows? Was this interpreted? Who knows? If this quote right here came from the King James Bible, absolutely interpreted. Absolutely interpreted. Because everything in the King James Bible is about deification of Jeshua, when he never wanted that. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. Now, I've talked about this quote quite a lot. There are many ways to God. There are many ways there. And for all of us to get there is for us to come and step into our divinity and step into our role. Now, you don't have to get there through Christianity, through Islam, through Buddhism, through Hinduism, through Baha'i, through any belief structure out there, through Wicca, even New Age thought. There are many ways to get there, but it all comes down to one element. It comes down to stepping into the divinity, that you are one with God, and you are just like Jeshua, just like Buddha, just like Krishna. The only difference between these avatars of old is that they acknowledged it and stepped into it. But all of them have been saying all the way through that you are God's. You are one with God. You are the same as they. That is the key to the greatest enlightenment or the greatest teaching in the world, is you are creating with your thoughts, with your minds, with your emotions, with your experience, and you are the creator. You are just as equal as greater works than I have done, you will do. It is your faith that heals you. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can ask a mountain to move and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. He's telling you very, very clearly that we are the same. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, so that where I am, you may also be. You know where I go, and you know the way. So this is another one of the interpretation lines that bothers me, because it implies that he's giving you permission by saying you may also come. It also implies that he has to go and create a space for you. And then the part that I think is actually probably accurate is receive you to myself, so that where I am, you may also be. You may be also. We're all going back to the oneness of God. And so he's going to the oneness. He's going to death. He's going to the oneness of God. And where he is, you will come there, because we all come back to the oneness of God. We all are part of the oneness of God. And by coming back to the oneness of God, you are going to where he is. Where he is, you will also be. So that makes perfect sense to the teachings. But the place where I question is, I go to prepare a place for you. There's no need for him to prepare anything. You are already creating. You're already divine. You're already one with God. There's no need to prepare anything. It is in your nature already. It's just the natural course of things. And if I go to prepare, I will come again and receive you to myself, so that where I am, you may also be. As far as coming again, I know he came again because I saw him after the crucifixion, and I saw him at the crucifixion. So I know what he went through, and I know what he looked like afterwards, with no scars, no marks, no swelling, no anything. So I know that he did come back. I also know that when I snapped a picture of a church in Norway, his face showed up in it. So I know full well that he came back. I also know full well, when I think of that church in Norway picture, that all he's doing is showing us our oneness. He's showing us that not only are you divine, but you're already in the oneness of God. Here's my face. Become aware, start to acknowledge, start to realize that you are in the oneness of God at all times. You only feel separate. You only feel disconnected, because that's why you're here, is to feel disconnected so you can reconnect and feel what it really feels like to be so. You know where I go and you know the way. I have told you this. I've given you all the information. That's what he's saying. He's saying, you know where I'm going because I've told you already. I've already taught you what the world is like. I've already taught you that you're one with God. I've already taught you all this. You know where I go, and you know the way because I showed you. I showed you what to do. Love one another. Be love in the world. Create a loving experience. Recognize that you are one with God and life is eternal. And that is basically what this quote talks about. But once again, there are interpretations in this that are not, in my opinion, accurate to his teachings, because in his mind there is no hierarchy. There is no well, I say in his mind. From what I remember of the man, his teachings did not talk about hierarchy. His teachings did not talk about, it talked about your personal inner power, your personal inner divinity, about everybody's equal. Everybody's equal. The leper, the wealthy person, the Samaritan, the Roman, you, me, we're all equal. There's no hierarchy. There's just experience. We're here to experience. And so we experience. And we experience in different ways. And so that's the key. There's no need to think of Jeshua on a pedestal, because he never wanted that. So you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye. Thank you, my friends, for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure that you've subscribed and you like it, you share it, but also comment below it. Let's get this community talking about these topics and spreading this information out far and wide so we can change the world for the better. Thank you.